who am I to think that I'm connected to the angels, or that I'm an angel, or that I embody angel energy, or I have angel energy, or whatever? Like, who am I?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Orphic. My name is Alyssa. I'm an astrophysicist. I just got my PhD, and I am interested in understanding the spirituality of the universe. I want to know how the entire universe works at a conscious level, at an astrophysics level. I want to combine all of it, and everything's alive, everything has a soul. And so that's really what I am trying to do here. Talk a lot of nerdy things, and yeah. Oh yeah, also follow me on Instagram. I always forget that. Follow me on Instagram at interdimensional.astrophysics. Hey,
I'm Mikayla with Mariposa Moonchild. I do empathic energy medicine and shadow alchemy. I'd like to be, a little shift. I'm here to be a part of the activation of the shift of consciousness across the planet and to activate those self-healing codes within us, and to ripple that across humanity. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
We love the ripple.
Yeah, I love the ripple effect. So, yeah, please follow me on Instagram at Mariposa Moonchild, and you can take a little look there at more of what I do and find out ways to work with me.
Yes, definitely do that. So we'll start off this episode before we play basically what would be the part 2 from last week's episode. We're just going to start though with a ground in, and let's do some group breathing and get relaxed.
Okay. So everyone, just take a moment. Take a moment to close our eyes if you're able to, and feel into our heart space. We're going to take a couple of really deep cleansing breaths. So when you're ready, I invite you to take a big inhale, filling your lungs all the way to the top, pausing, and then release. Letting it all go. Just take another one just like that. Filling your lungs all the way to the top. Pausing at the top. Open your mouth and release. And take another one just like that on your own. When you're ready, release and let it go. Let go of anything that might feel negative or anything that feels like it's weighing you down. Releasing it with the breath and letting it go. Taking a moment to connect in with your heart space. You can even put a hand on your heart. And take a small second right now, a small moment, just to really listen in and connect to your heart and ask it what it wants to tell you right now. And take a second to just listen and let that inner wisdom come through. And when you're finished, I invite you to take one more cleansing breath. And pause at the top and release. Let it go. And when you're ready, I welcome you back into this space.
Ooh, that was a good one. I feel really present. I feel very in my body and present. So that's great because this is definitely a good part 2 episode, talk about some cool stuff. Okay, so yeah, make sure to give us a rating, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening. Find us on YouTube. These episodes are all available on YouTube, so just thought I'd mention that up front. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this episode.
Yeah. And so you're coming to Banff with with Brandon and your sister?
Yeah, I forgot that we didn't talk about that at the top of the episode. Yeah, Mikayla and I might actually meet in person in like a month and a half. So
oh wow, yeah, it's actually
it's kind of soon. Yeah. So
Bryce and I told Bryce this yesterday. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna meet." He's like, you guys are gonna be like, ah, and then the other one's gonna be like, ah. And I'm like, probably. Yeah. And then I'm like, what if we just like see each other in person and we're just like, ah, and then it's just like awkward. I mean, I don't think so, but I'm just like, I have this fear. I'm like, what if we just like look at each other?
What if we're like,
what the fuck?
I don't want to be friends anymore.
Well, because I think the moment it's probably going to be pretty surreal.
I know it probably will be awkward.
Yeah, maybe for a moment. I don't think it would last very long, but I think it would be. I think it will be surreal because think of how close we are and how long we've been connected, but we've only ever seen each other through one perception of through the screen.
It's gonna be weird, yeah. So
it's gonna be really weird.
So really, I don't know. I just obviously trust whatever curveballs the universe throws your way, which is kind of just funny because one of the reasons that this maybe is gonna work is because my job, the stuff with my job has been taking so long. And of course, months ago, I maybe thought that I was supposed to be in France at this time or whatever, but it's kind of well, as the time is progressing, it's okay, it looks like I still think things are going to come through, but it looks like timing maybe is going to get pushed back or it's not as pressing. So my sister said that she wants to take a trip with her and my 2 nieces. They're 2 years old and 4 years old, 3 years old, whatever. How old are they? They're like 2 and 3. And they want to go to Banff in Canada. And yeah, and they want to take me to enjoy the trip, but also help out with the kids and everything, to be an extra helping hand. And it would be mid-July. And I think that, yeah, so we're kind of in the process of planning it and everything now. But I do think, I think it's pretty much going to happen. And I think we would be there for about a week or something. And it's not that far from you, or I don't know, it's at least driving distance from you, right?
It's 5 hours, probably.
But
so it's a bit, but
right, it's a bit. But I figured, if we have a plan, if now we're still about a month out, if we can, it's just a matter of kind of trying our best, and also just kind of divine a lot of these things. Mm-hmm. Things like you being able to get over there is divine timing and everything. So I'm well, we'll set our intentions, we'll do our best, we'll leave it up to the universe, and we'll have about a month now to figure it out. Yeah. But I mean,
we'll see. But yeah, that would be pretty wild.
Yeah. And I'm so I've wanted to go to Banff for so long because
I know you've talked about Banff a lot. Even when you've talked about coming to visit me, you're we're gonna go to Banff, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to Banff. And I'm yeah, I guess so.
I guess we are. I just love those glacial blue lakes. New Zealand is my favorite place in the world. I've been a few times.
Oh, you have been a few times?
New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I kind of snickered there because I thought you've never been, and you're it's my favorite place in the world.
Wait, what? That's so funny because I thought that you were just trolling me. Now you have been a few times because I thought I talk about it all the time.
No,
I guess I don't talk about it I don't talk about New Zealand that much on the podcast, but no, I have been to New Zealand twice for a week. Actually, I went once by myself. The second time I went was by myself for 2 weeks.
Wow, how old are you?
I went in
I feel we haven't talked about this.
Yeah, I guess not, because I didn't know that you didn't know I went to New Zealand.
Unless I've just completely forgot. I know you
I love
New Zealand.
I have posters in my room of the lakes and everything and the mountains. Yes, the first time I went was when I was in Australia. Was when I lived in Australia, and I went for a week. And
when did you live in Australia?
Okay, you just have bad memory because we had this whole realization on the podcast about me living in Australia. Really? And it was actually during the addiction episode. Wow, this is quite a full circle. Yes, because I talked about that phase of life. So now you've definitely heard that. I lived in Australia for 3 months and did research there in 2018.
Okay, I do kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Now.
So when I was down there, I had been dreaming of going to New Zealand, so I took like a whole week holiday there. And it was in their winter. And actually their winter is nicer. I think I went, and then when I went for the second time, I went in their summer. Their winter, it's more beautiful because the mountains are snowy, and I just think everything is a bit prettier.
Like greener, probably.
No, it's just like the mountains are like snowier or snowy. So I just think the mountains, I think the mountains look prettier now that I've been there in both seasons. I kind of think the mountains and the scenery looks prettier when there's snow on the mountaintops and on the mountains. But yeah, then when I went back, so the last time I was there was the end of 2019, and I went for my birthday. So I went I got there like December 22nd or something. I went like December like 15th or 18th or something like that.
Which is their summer, right?
Yeah. So I went for my birthday. So I went like the last 2 weeks of December into like the first few days of the new year into 2020. I brought in 2020 in New Zealand.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I have a few friends there because I'm actually trying to meet up with one of my friends who's from New Zealand in Europe this summer, hopefully, if my job brings me to Europe. But I did this trip in 2015. It's this group called Kentucky. It's like this program called Kentucky, and it's just all these, like, they have all these different trips, and they gather like groups of like 40 people. And so I went on my own to do this one in Greece in 2015. And because it's kind of like an Australia.
When were you in Greece in 2015?
I did this this like group trip of 40 young adults for Greece in 2015, and we did in like the summer in like May 2015.
Oh, I lived in Athens for a month in March of 2015.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You lived in Athens for a month? Wow. We're learning so much. Imagine how much more we'll learn about each other in person.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I did like an island hopping thing. We went to Athens and we went to Santorini and a few other islands, Mykonos and Ios. But yeah, so I met because it's kind of like Australian based, the program. There were a lot of Australians and people and Kiwis, which is New Zealand people on there. So I made quite a few friends of people that live in Australia and New Zealand. And when I went to Australia and New Zealand years later, like I met up with them and I would like stayed at their houses. Like they like took me in for the weekend. Like we did all these things. Like, so I got connects around the world, which is cool. Yeah. So
yeah, that is cool.
So yeah, New Zealand, they have these beautiful, really bright blue lakes on the South Island. I don't think they have many of those lakes on the North Island. I've only been to the South Island. It's way prettier. I've never been to Auckland, but they have these beautiful lakes where the color, it's like, I imagine that you know exactly what this is because you've been to BAM. What you're talking about. It's like you go and you think that your eyes are like deceiving you. You're like, this can't be real. Like you gotta blink like 5 times and you're like, no, this is actually this color blue and it's real and it's not a filter and it's in front of my face, and you're just like, it's just I could cry. I could cry again.
Banff will be like that for you guys because I imagine you're gonna plan to go like Lake Louise and stuff too.
Hell yeah, gonna go to all of the
Lake Moraine.
Give me all the glacial blue lakes. I think they have. I heard. I'm just trying to understand like why they have that coloring. Something with like the minerals, I think, from the glaciers or something.
It is something right? From the glacial water.
Yeah, it's a glacier thing.
Because when you...
It's a glacier thing.
It's a glacial thing. Yeah, because like the water's kind of like... I mean, it's not because it's water, but it does look like an opaque blue.
Yes.
When you look at it.
Right. It doesn't even look clear. It just looks like... Oh my God,
yes.
Unreal.
It looks like blue milk.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. yeah, it's crazy. Or just like even like Kool-Aid. It's just
Yeah, it looks opaque. It is so cool. So yeah, because of that, I've definitely been dying to go to Banff. And I've never really been, I've never been to that part of Canada or anything. I've only ever been to Toronto once in Canada. Toronto. Which is basically like a cleaner New York City, so.
Yeah, I've only been to Toronto a couple times when I was younger. I don't really remember. And Niagara Falls. Canada is just so, I mean, the States is big too, but Canada is quite big. Like, especially as far as how like wide it is. Like,
but
to
it
get to
also
somewhere
goes
like
up so big.
Yes, it does go up so big. Like, to get somewhere on the other side, it's just like that's so far away. Like, it's so far away. Like, even like Ontario, like the province that Toronto's in, like I think to drive across just Ontario is like over 15 hours.
Wow.
Like, just for one province or one state or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, it's so big.
Yeah, so even like getting flights out to the East Coast in Canada are usually like more expensive than getting a flight to like Vegas or something. But I really would like to check out Eastern Canada because I never really have. But yeah, you guys will love Banff. Do you like fondue?
Yeah.
Okay, before you go, you should book a reservation at the Grizzly Steakhouse to do fondue.
I'm so excited. Dude, I can't even believe, like, Jackie.
It's going to be very busy while you're there.
Like, I would love to be. Like, it's just, this was so random. Like, Jackie, my sister, the one I'm going with, she mentioned this to me for the first time. Like, this was not even like, in the back of my mind, like, I knew Jackie was maybe going to go to Banff. Because this was yesterday that it became a bit more official, but it was only like 2 days before that. So, like, this weekend, she was like, by the way, I think we're going to go to Banff. Like, do you want to come? And I was like, what? My summer just got a lot more exciting, even though I'm still hoping to go to the French Alps for my job at some point. But like, that's kind of just a vibrational reality right now. This all of a sudden is becoming a tangible physical reality. So like my life just got a lot more exciting in the last few days. So I'm excited about that.
Do you guys know what city you're gonna fly into? Like, are you gonna fly in and then like rent a car?
I think we probably would rent a car. They talked about that a bit, but I don't know about the city or whatever.
So you'd probably have to fly into Calgary, and that's still like a couple hours maybe from Banff.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah. I should give Jackie a call again tonight or tomorrow to kind of retouch base. But
and I'm flying into Calgary soon here to go back to Alberta for my mom to pick me up. So yeah, I mean, you guys could fly into Kelowna where I live.
Right. That's where are you? I don't know if you want to say the exact town. I was going to say, like, because I know Kelowna is where you drive into to go, like, and be in the city, right? But
Kelowna or
like,
Vernon.
You're like an hour, though, from Kelowna, right? For where you live?
Yeah, probably like 40-ish, 45 to an hour into Kelowna. And about 40 minutes into Vernon, the other city. I say, like, Vernon. And we're, like, stationed on the west side of the lake. So Vernon and Kelowna are on the east side of the lake. And we're stationed in between them on the west side, where it's a little bit more rural. And then I usually say Vernon is the smaller city and Kelowna is the bigger city. But they're both not, like, very big. Like, I think Kelowna is only, like, 100,000 people. Usually, which isn't that big for a city. And I mean, in the summer though, the population like literally like doubles. The traffic is crazy. But then Vernon's kind of a smaller, still a city, but a smaller city to that even. And that's what we're a little bit closer to. Are you looking it up?
We would probably have to fly into Calgary, right? Is there any other option? Looks like that's the closest major city.
I think, Calgary will be your only option.
Yeah.
Or best option. Like, you could fly into Kelowna too.
And do like a longer drive, you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like a 5-hour drive.
Right.
But
So the closest is Calgary.
Calgary would be the best option. You could maybe also do Edmonton, but again, longer drive.
Right.
I would say Calgary makes the most sense.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. So I'm like so excited. I've like craved some adventure. Also, it would be so cool to just be with my nieces and everything. And yeah, just like now it's pretty close. It's like only a month away.
Yeah,
So once we start making some concrete plans, then yeah, like whatever, like you could hopefully like even stay with us for a few days and
yeah, that would be
yeah,
lovely.
yeah, we're gonna figure it out. Our
Yeah,
intentions
I
are
guess
out
we'll
into the
see.
universe, so let divine intervention take over to help us figure out the details. So what's up with you? Tell us some stories.
Yeah, I've been super busy.
Yeah, you have.
What day is it even?
Wednesday.
Like, I'm being serious. Wednesday, like 31st?
May 31st. We're recording this on.
Yeah. Well, my sister came to stay with me last week.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Tuesday. So she was with me during the week. And we hung out and like walked Oaks and stuff. That was nice. And then we went into Kelowna and we went dress shopping together. So that was fun.
Yeah. How'd that go?
It was pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I still have to send you the photos, so
Yes.
I should have sent them to you before so you could have spoke to them a bit more, but also can't really put that all out there. So
Yeah.
it's so funny with like Bryce. I'm just like, you can't see the dress, and he's like, why? I'm like, you've never heard of that before? Like you can't see the dress. Like you're the groom, you can't see it. And he's like, that's stupid.
He's heard of that before though, right? Come on.
I don't know. He's just very, I don't know, honestly. He's very guy. He's just like, why does it matter? And I'm like, because it does.
Because that's the way tradition said it mattered. So do you feel like you narrowed down to a style or something? Or do you, like what, like clearly you didn't find like the dress, right? You didn't choose a dress.
No.
I'm like, I would have known that.
No. My mom would have been sad that she wasn't there yet either. Well, I mean, remember we talked about this last time. I'm a Sagittarius, so
Yes, you are.
I needed my options.
Yeah.
I did find one that I really, really liked that I think could be an option. I don't know if it's the one yet. I definitely do think I have it narrowed down to a style that I would like, which is what I kind of already thought that I would like before.
Yeah.
We'll see though, because there's this one dress that I've found that I really like. I mean, there's a couple I found that I really like, but some of them, or they were like couture, like very expensive, and I'm like, fuck, I just have like expensive taste.
Yep.
Very expensive, which is gonna be out of budget. But then I found one similar that I also really like. That is within budget, very reasonable, but it's from Australia. And so I can't, there's no one near me that carries it. And I came across it because I was trying to figure out which shops to go to, because I'm going to go back to Alberta soon and go with my mom and sister. And we're actually going to go to multiple at a time. And that'll be kind of the big thing. And then after that, I'll be like, all right, probably like pick your dress.
Right. It's like, all right, that's probably, you can calm down after that.
Yeah. That'll be the more of like the dress experience. It was kind of like my mom just came out here in January and she just wanted to go kind of. So it's like, okay, we'll go. And of course, like see what there is. And then when my sister came out, it was kind of the same thing. Cause I don't get to have this time with my family ever. So it's like, yeah, like while she's here, like we might as well go to like a different store and just like do it, which I'm happy I did. I liked this second store that we went to a lot.
Good.
And then it just gives me an idea for like, styles and what I really want. But anyway, so when I was looking to book the appointments for my mom and sister when I go back to Alberta, I was being there's so many bridal stores. I was being very thorough about the brand. So I just didn't want to waste my time. Like there's no point in going to a store if there's nothing there that I even want to try on.
Yeah.
So I seen this one brand. And I was going through their dresses and I wasn't seeing anything. And then I came across this one dress and I was like, oh, I really like this dress. So I would like to go try it on at this place. But I thought I need to cover my bases. So I called the place and asked if they had that dress. And they said, no, we don't carry that dress anymore. So then I tried to find another place, the next closest place that carried that brand. This was in Calgary. Next closest place was Seattle. So I called the place in Seattle. No, we don't carry that one. They carry the brand, but not that dress. I'm like, fuck. So then
of course, you're like on a wild goose chase for like a single dress.
Especially because it's like reasonably priced too, because it's like different when the other ones are like so out of my budget, but this is like, I'm like, this could, and you can order it right off the site, but I want to try it on. Like, I'm not just going to order it on a whim. Like, I need to try it.
Nah, it's risky.
Very risky. So then I just like emailed the brand in Australia, and it was like, you know, like sometimes places do loan samples, or like, could you send a loan sample to the Rococo Brides, it's called, in Calgary, or to like this shop in Calgary, and I could try it on, or like, I really want to try on this dress. Like, what can we do? What can we make happen? And it was weird because at first they're kind of just like, oh no, like we can't send a loan sample from here, blah, blah, blah. But you can go to this shop in Toronto. They have it. And I'm just like, Toronto's like a 4-hour plane ride from me.
Toronto's near me. Want me to go get it for you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, so it's so funny how people say that, because they're just like, oh, this shop's in Canada. They seemed really proud of themselves. They're like, you can go here to Toronto and get it. I'm like, that's not going to work. Like, that's just not, it's not going to work. It's not feasible. Like, I wish it was, but it's not. And like, plane tickets from this part of Canada to Toronto are fucking expensive.
Yeah, it's across the whole country. Cross-country flight.
Yeah. So I was like, probably not going to work. Like, for these reasons, is there anything else you can do? Blah, blah, blah. And then then they got back to me, and the company's been really good. And then they're like, we can send you a loan sample through the bride shop in Toronto, or they can send you a sample of the dress, and we can do this whole thing where they like, it's like a loaner, and you get it for 3 days. You have to pay like a loan fee and like shipping and stuff, but then you get it for 3 days and you send it back and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay, great. And then like the more and more we were talking about, they're like, well, what version of it do you want? Because it can come in like a bunch of different versions as far as like color, and like the bodice of it can come like sheer, like completely like unlined, or you can line it with either ivory or like nude. Or, and then like the neckline you can do at different like heights, I guess, like different, like there's some that are like 5-inch, 3-inch, like whatever. So I could come on all these different versions, but I wanted the original beautiful one that I seen on the site. So I was like, okay, well, I want this one, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, well, this one's going to come from Australia. And then we are going to do this. I still need to get back to them and just like lock a few things in like credit card details and get them to actually send it. But so they are going to send a dress and we're going to get it sent to my mom's house when I'm in Alberta, and I'm going to try that one on. And I mean, I wouldn't go out to all of this trouble unless like I think that there's a very high potential that this could be it. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think I'm kind of like holding out in my head for that. But I guess we'll also see when we go to these other appointments kind of what they have.
Definitely.
Yeah. I just feel like I want something that feels very like me and unique, and like, I don't know. And I feel like a lot of dress shops have really boring options, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see that. Or yeah, it's like you have some feeling that you want it to embody, and I could see it just being like meh, meh, meh.
I kind of am. Like, there's a lot of ones that I tried on that are really nice, but I just don't think, I don't know if I've had the feeling.
With like pizzazz. You need something with that like oomph factor.
Yeah.
And some people like want something more simple, but like if that's not what you want, if you want like you're looking like, there's a reason you're like gravitated towards like all the couture stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you want a vibe. You're looking for a certain like something.
Yeah. And it can be simple too, mate. I mean, probably not. I mean, it just has to feel right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
and that's exactly what you want, and that's exactly what you're gonna get for it to feel right. So you're not gonna stop until you do.
No, yeah, exactly. I'm not.
Nope.
So, so we'll see how that goes. I do feel like I found an option at like the last store that would be nice, but I still feel like there's just something a little bit more I want to feel. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
One step closer.
yeah. And then the night that I was on my way to pick up my sister from the airport, I actually connected with this new lady, I guess, that I met. She's a medicine woman. And I wanted to do the Sananga.
Wait, how did this come about?
That's a good question. Okay.
Wait, are you talking about the person that connected you to the Sananga person, or was this something about when your sister was visiting and you dropped her at the airport? Is that what you said? Unless I just missed what you said.
Yeah, when I was on the way to pick her up from the airport, that's when I had my appointment.
Oh, yeah. Right, with the medicine woman. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I missed something. Okay, I got you there. But
yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
so how was that whole experience? Or I guess you could give like a brief backstory of how you know the person, but either way, whatever.
Well, I talked on, if you want to listen to some of our previous episodes, the Eagle's Eye Ranch episodes that talk about Alyssa and I's healing experience at our energy healing experience at Eagle Eye's Ranch. And
by the way, just a quick plug for that episode. My friend just listened to that episode recently. It's from about a month or two ago, but she was like, "Oh my God, this podcast is fire. Like that episode was crazy." So it's being very well received. So go
love
listen.
to hear it. Yeah, definitely go check it out. It is a really great episode.
Yeah.
So in that episode, I tried Sananga for the first time, or not in that episode, but in my experience
On the podcast.
In my experience at the ranch, and then I talk about it on the episode.
Yeah.
But when I was at the ranch during the energy sessions and healings, there was another lady, I guess medicine woman, who came and she set up a little bed in the back to administer Sananga, and we were welcome to go try it as the other people were having their sessions done. And I was a little nervous at first because it's like this, I guess the medicine, the plant is Sananga, and then it's made into a liquid that to have the experience, you drop it into your eyes and then it burns. It burns a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with it, you kind of go in with asking for something or asking for clarity on something. I wish I had some. I am going to get some to use for myself.
Oh, cool.
But I wish I had some right now to ask myself for clarity about something.
You know, you actually didn't. You talked about the fact that you did Sananga on that episode, but I remember when you started talking about it, you were like, "Oh, actually, I'm being told that this isn't the time to talk about it." So I don't think you really ever talked about whatever you experienced the first time you did Sananga.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember that vividly. Like you started talking about it a little bit, and you're like, "Actually, nope, they're telling me that this is not the time to talk about it." So you didn't really talk about, because didn't you like see an angel or something?
Yeah. Did I talk
In a
about that on
forest?
the pod?
No, you just told me. I don't think you talked about it. You just said that you did it.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about it now. Yeah, so it's like this medicine gets put in, it burns in your eyes, and then you kind of have this moment of clarity. So for my first experience, how it felt, I felt like you really like breathe pretty hard in the beginning because it's like, I guess, painful. I mean, and if you want to try it, it's really not that bad, but it is like it definitely is a discomfort or a pain in your eyes at first, but you're going to live, you're going to be fine. Like your eyes are going to be fine.
Right.
It's actually quite good for your eyes and people who even have like healing for like glaucoma and like other like eye issues. So, and so anyways, I guess in the point of clarity, so you start breathing because you really have no other choice than to get through it by like breathing. And then she says, just like breathe into your heart. And then, so like the first time I did it, I experienced, like I would say after when you kind of calm down, it's kind of about like maybe like a 10-minute-ish plus experience. your body does just feel really clear and kind of like cleared out. And I would say comparable to, after you finish like a really good workout, like especially like something that's like a little bit more high intense and you have the endorphins going, or even like or like a cold plunge, or like, like that feeling after, you would just feel like so refreshed and like clear.
That's
like,
nice.
I would say it's like a very intense, like clearing kind of comparable to that. So the first experience I had at the ranch, I seen angel walking through the forest, like kind of a big iridescent blue angel just like in the forest. And I actually do remember why I said it wasn't the Sanunga that I didn't want to talk about the experience. It was, I think, the correlation with the angel, because there's a past life there that's very important for me with the angel. However, it's that story isn't ready to be told yet.
Oh, I see.
It will be at some point, but but it
cliffhanger.
But it tied into, because my thing when I was at the ranch that time was being afraid of my power.
Yeah.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my thing at the ranch then, or whatever my agenda or whatever we worked through, was having this fear for my own power. And there's stuff with the angel that kind of goes with that. But sorry, that is a story for another time when it's meant to come through. Yeah. So this time I went and did Sanunga, this beautiful medicine woman, and went to her house. She's just got like this little kind of roundhouse on the lake. It was just like so cute. I loved it so much. It's like the vintage kind of furniture, and it's like round but just like small. It was just like this, like the cutest little place, like just like plants and stuff, and their little cats are running around. And so we did Hape first. So she asked me if I wanted to do that, or that was part of it. I've never actually tried Hape before, so I was like, I'm definitely open.
What is it exactly? Do you know? I've heard of it.
Yeah, I want to say it's like tobacco. Like, she definitely explained this all to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was like a plant or a tea or something.
Like,
I don't know.
The version that I had was like a powder, but I'm just gonna Google it and see what it says.
Sure.
I guess it's actually Hape or Rape. I think it's spelled more like Rape, but yeah, okay, yeah, cause you can spell it Hape or Rape, but it's kind of got like a little like line above the E on the end, but that makes the A sound.
Okay.
So Rape is the preparation of powdered medicinal herbs, often with a tobacco base. Hape is typically made with mapacho. Hape elicits a feeling of alertness and elevation that surpasses most other natural plant-based effects. The effects of Hape are experienced rapidly and intensely because the powdered snuff is administered through the nose. The practice of consuming the powdered plant medicine through the nose is much more ancient than we realized. Today, indigenous tribes in the Amazon basin continue to use Hape in all aspects of life, from formal ritual use in rites of puberty, initiation, kashiri drinkings, festivals, social gatherings, healing ceremonies, to simply tuning into nature and the healing power of sacred medicines alone or with friends. I think it's what was this one say too? The ritual use of Hape is also making its way around the world, introduced to the West through ayahuasca ceremonies by traveling shamans and visitors who have spent time in the jungle with indigenous communities. So yeah, I think it's like I said, tobacco base with a mix of other herbs and stuff, because I know she mixed ayahuasca powder with mine. Because we'd been talking about how Aya had been calling me, so she's like, I'll put some of that in there, and she put some other stuff, but I don't really remember. I was a little nervous because I'd never tried it before, and I knew that so she used it was a bone, which is like kind of like a long pipe, and then she scooped it up on the end, and then she actually blows it into my nose.
Whoa.
But
interesting.
yeah, so like I go like this and she blows it into one, and I kind of like just like, I guess, close your throat and kind of like, I don't know. And then it's like very peppery, like very like it like any like the Sanunga, like there's definitely some pain there, like hits you hard for a second, and then she does it to like the other nostril, and you're kind of like just like breathing it in, but then you just like breathe through it. She like sat a bucket beside me too, and she's like, some people puke, and I'm like, oh, great. So that made me nervous. It was not that bad. I did not feel the need to do that, but I guess she's got to cover her bases because you might.
Right.
And so and then we kind of went, so from what I've gathered, it sounds like someone who, I'm trying to avoid using the word good because we talked about the word good earlier, but someone who is maybe an advanced ceremonialist or facilitator will take the medicine with you to experience it together, which makes sense because I think this is the standard, or should be the standard, and my weekend away, because I was also gone for the weekend.
Oh, interesting.
To the ranch, we had some conversations about ethics around consuming the medicine with the participant, or I guess, I don't know what the word is, but the person who is not the facilitator.
Yeah. Like the shaman person?
Yeah, that would be the facilitator, the shaman.
Oh, yeah.
So she explained that to me. So I'll do it after you. And then we'll sit together just in like meditation. And so she explained that to me too, that like these medicines, they really just drop you into that place really like quickly. Like they just like really bring you there. It's kind of just like, whew, and like kind of everything else that doesn't matter is out, and it's just like boom. It's funny though, because I don't really remember what came up in the Hape, to be honest. Because I did the Sanunga after this, so I don't.
What did it feel like?
The Hape?
Yeah. Like after it, like, or when you guys were in that meditation, or like after it.
Very similar, with just that like very cleared out feeling, and more peppery, kind of like up in the head.
Yeah.
In
clearing
this
your sinuses.
part. Yeah. And you just kind of keep just like breathing through it. Cause at first you're just very like, like, but it's just, it just like really takes you to that place, and takes you to that spot, that place too, where you need to breathe. So these medicines, they really bring you into your body, right? Like, cause you're really with your body, like feeling it. So I don't know why I can't remember what came to me with the Hape, but actually the angel came to me again with the Hape.
Oh, cool. Wow, there's really something there for you with that angel.
Yeah, I know.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, the angel
when
came
you're ready
to me again with the Hape, and just being like, you don't need to be afraid of your power anymore. Like, you can spread your wings. And so in a lot of ways, that's my true form. Like with those wings, with the angel wings, very connected to like the angels. What's so weird, I think I have a resistant, and that's part of it. Part of it's just like stories not ready to be told yet. Some of it, part of it's just like, I think I have a resistance to speaking about my connection to the angel beings, because it's like, I don't know, like, and like there's a lot of other beings that I am, or you are, or that we're all connected to too. But there's something with the angels where it's just like this feeling of like unworthiness to speak it, or something comes up. Like, who am I to think that I'm connected to the angels, or that I'm an angel, or that I embody angel energy, or I have angel energy, or whatever. Like, who am I to think that?
That's interesting. I feel like though that comes from, I don't know, I feel like there's something there with the like your your affinity to like the darkness and the walking the line of like life and death and everything, but it feels like the angel stuff is like completely tied into that because it's like one and the same. It's like, you know, it's like the other side of the coin, like, but it's also the other thing that I thought of when you were talking was just what seems to kind of be a theme of these like 2 episodes that we're doing together of the like, you know, who says just because angels are like high vibrational or whatever, that it's like good, or that, you know, or that it has to be put on any sort of pedestal.
Yeah.
To feel like, but yeah, that's really interesting though, that there's something there with that. There's some kind of like constriction there within you.
Well, yeah. And it is interesting because when I went, right, when you say who says it's good or it's this, because when I went into that, these realizations about the angels, I was actually shown myself as a shadow angel, is what it was called.
Oh.
So not a fallen angel, but a shadow angel, which walks that line. You know what? Honestly, I'm just gonna tell the story. And if people out there don't resonate with it, or if they think, who am I to whatever? Like, I guess that's just your perception of this. And yeah, I don't know. I guess there's part of releasing. I'm just like, I just can't care either. I remember I felt very similar to, I think you listened to Oath Oracle's ayahuasca episodes.
Yeah.
If we've referenced them before. Go listen. Oath Oracle is amazing astrologist on Instagram. Yeah. She's really great. She's very good at just like taking a concept and articulating it in a way that just like hits and makes sense.
She's awesome.
She's great. And she went and she usually talks more about astrology, and her podcast is about business, but my favorite episodes of hers are always story time. So she went and did ayahuasca in Costa Rica, and amazing episodes, not just for the ayahuasca ceremony, but the downloads that she gets through her experience. That's the pure gold magic. So like, go listen to it. But I remember her talking about how like at the end she felt this like, she had pain in her body. She knew it was like a purification and this initiation. And she got like shown Jesus. And I remember did you listen to all 3 of them? Yeah. I remember her talking about like even also treading really lightly, where she's like, I don't know if I should say this. Like, I don't want to offend anybody, like talking about Jesus or saying that I'm initiated and thinking that I'm the shit. And she's like, so this is my experience. This is my perception. Take it however you want. And it's like, that's what I'm trying to say too. But I guess I really seen her in that moment of how she felt that way, trying to explain something, but is also like, I don't want to come off that, I don't know. I guess I still in that moment, she still had these pieces of, I don't want to offend anybody with my story. And I mean, also, and it's interesting because I'm listening to her being like, no, you go girl. Like, I feel this in my heart and I'm so happy for you. But she just seen this picture of Jesus, and basically was kind of what was coming through is she was being initiated like Jesus. And that's the part where she's like, I don't want people to take it so literal, but I did understand on a soul level what she was saying, because Jesus was a light worker at his time. Like that's why he's Christ, because it's Christ consciousness. And interesting. Right. And so she said this doesn't usually always happen with people with ayahuasca, but she had this like pain in her body, this like pain of like this clearing out and purification. She realized it was, just this moment of like going through this pain of initiation. And I mean, it's not just individual to her, because we're collectively going through an initiation. Right. Us all as individuals, we're going through, like, I think at this point in time, it's like there's multiple Jesuses all around. It's not just like this big thing. But since that was such a familiar symbol, that got shown to her in that moment. Anyways, that's kind of a side tangent, but I think it was just important and relevant to the story. So anyways, how this story goes is I was in a meditation one time because I've had this feeling or this resistance or being afraid of my own power, and I'm still unpacking that. And I did that session with Lucia because a lot comes up with that too. Like, who am I to think that I'm so powerful or that I have all this power? Like, who am I? And you know what? If you look up my name in Hebrew, it means "who am I?" with a question mark.
What?
Like Michael, and then Mikayla is the feminine version of Michael. And then that just came to me. And you know why I know that? Because when I was a young girl, my grandma gave me a thing that was laminated with my name on it, and below it said like the meaning of Mikayla, and it said "who am I?" with a question mark. Yeah, this is crazy to me too, because I just made this like connection. And I remember being a little girl and looking at this and being like, how can the meaning of my name be a question? Holy, that just blew my mind.
That blew my mind too. Talk about chills.
Holy, I'm going to write that down. Wow.
Wait, so did that just come to you just now?
Yeah.
The meaning, like that just clicked in for you, like you just remembered that?
I just remembered it and I can see the piece of paper my grandma gave me when I was like 5 years old. Like it just popped into my head. I just seen it. And I remember thinking when I was that young, I was so confused by the meaning of it. And when have I ever thought about that? That was wild.
That's wild.
That was pretty cool. And that's really interesting too, because this question kept coming up over the weekend that I was just at. I'm going to, for the listeners, I was at Lucia's ranch for like a training, like a 3-day kind of training retreat thing. And I think I'm going to talk about that more on another episode. But I was there, and the question of who am I in so many ways kept coming up, because even at the beginning we did like a drum-in ceremony and we each had to like introduce ourselves. And then it's just like, you have to ask yourself the question, who am I? And more of that came up too, even of just like, names and resonating with your name and stuff. But anyways, I guess back to my story. So I was in meditation, the deep meditation one time, and there was this resistance or this whatever fear coming up around my power, and my human self didn't really understand it. Like I could feel it was there, but I didn't really understand it. So I asked my angels and guides more about it. And they took me into this was like right before I think I went to sleep one time, into this meditation where I was like, because my soul, I mean, all of our souls are quite old, but then they like fragment off and stuff. But I know that mine is specific, like quite old. Like I've seen a lot of shit. Like I'm from somewhere else, but I've been on Earth for like a long time because I volunteered for a long time, and I've had a lot of experiences, like a lot of us. But way back when, before Earth or anything. And I'm really sorry if this sounds crazy to anyone, but this is why we have the podcast. I just have to there's some medicine in the vulnerability. So, take everything I say with a grain of salt and what resonates and what doesn't. But I was an angel living in that dimension as an angel. And because we hear the term of a fallen angel, right? Like if you're
I've heard it like a few times, like vaguely, but I don't know if I necessarily know what it means.
Well, I mean, in the Bible, in Christianity, the devil, Lucifer was an angel. And he was a fallen angel and descended to hell. And now he's the devil.
Oh, okay. I thought that it maybe had something to do with kind of that as the origin.
Yeah, because Lucifer was actually the name of that like angel. But that's like a whole bunch of Christian teachings and blah, blah, blah too. But I was an angel in this lifetime. And also this lasted like a very long time, because that's very like angel, you're very much like in a light body, whatever. And something happened where I really, really like lost my way as an angel. And I don't remember exactly what it was. Something to do with my power, like something like I had so much power as an angel, being as a soul, so much power. And I don't know if it was necessarily bad thing. I mean, again, what's that word? But I lost my way or something. And I did have this moment where I fell all the way down into the underworld. Just like Lucifer, although I did not become the devil. But for a very long time, as the angel, I was stuck down there for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And it was just like so dark and scary, and I was lost. And I was like,
was it like a karmic thing, you think?
Probably.
Like that, like you had to like do the reverberation of it to pay for some karma or something?
maybe. Well, probably whatever happened with my power. That's why I ended up down there. It was like, and I wasn't shown exactly what happened, but I was shown that that's the reason why I ended up down there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so lifetimes and lifetimes of just kind of this suffering and walking around in the dark and letting my light get clouded. And I had to bring myself out of that. And through that, I had to face my shadows. And I was in the shadows. And so the word came to me, shadow angel. And it was actually shadow angel. But it was really instant. So then again, I was able to like rise again by like confronting my shadows and stuff. But I seen myself as a gray angel. Like you'd see the white angels and then maybe the fallen angels were like black or something. And I was this gray angel, and I was kept being referred to as a shadow angel because I could walk both worlds, because I had mastered it, because I had mastered being able to walk both worlds.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy that like all kind of. Did you have like that download like during the Sanunga thing on the day of the range?
No, I had this download months ago, like probably in the spring of 2022.
But then it like came up again at the ranch, right? And then your whole reading and your whole session with Lucia that day was about walking between worlds and about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you mastered the underworld.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's so crazy. Like it's so deep. And then like having those, that healing experience with her, and she's like validating some of that. And it was true, because that's where I fit, was this like, shadow angel. And that's how I learned through my experiences, was through my shadows. And then that's also part of my teachings or my medicine. It is the shadows, right? Because like, as much as we want to say good or bad, light or dark, it's all part of the experience. It's all part of it. It's all part of the experience. And that's part of my work here. So maybe I'm going to have to adjust my intro a little bit. But
yeah, you should totally add some of that stuff to your intro.
So if anyone sees on my my Instagram account, it says Shadow Oracle, that's where it comes from. But maybe I'm gonna have to change that to Shadow Angel. I feel
cool. There's like a very unique vibration to that.
Definitely, I feel the need to kind of tweak some things on my Instagram and bring in a new energy. So, but yeah, that is the story around that. So then that's what was happening with this angel that kept coming back, this angel energy. And then and then this is a tiny tidbit, but I remember because Elizabeth April has this test about like, what being are you? And I remember it was so random because I just seen it pop up and I was like, oh, I'm just curious to see what this test would say. And I got angel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't even know that was an option. Like I thought I was going to be an alien.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I am.
Yeah,
but...
angels are aliens.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Which is funny. But yeah, they are.
So, wow. Thanks for listening to everyone who listened to that. It's not really what I thought was going to come up today, but here we are.
Okay, yeah. So that was really cool. That was a cool story. Thanks for sharing that. I feel like it's a lot to digest. Or definitely like, yeah, it's deep with this angel stuff, and there's truth to that though, but it's, you know, it's kind of, maybe you gotta just like have it sink in for a bit. But yeah, it's like I feel like it really kind of just is speaking to this balance and this balance energy of it and of the universe, and you know, it's I feel like that's kind of just a big takeaway of the whole thing, just themes around balance and the light and the dark and the yin yang symbol, and how the light is in the dark, and
even for the angels.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. Please make sure to give us a rating and review wherever you're listening, Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and also subscribe over on YouTube. Every single episode is available on YouTube with full video. So go over there, check us out on YouTube, please. And follow me on Instagram at interdimensional.astrophysics. The podcast page is at the Orphic Podcasts on Instagram. So go check us out over there too. We post some clips and everything. And yeah.
Please, or I guess follow me at Mariposa Moonchild on Instagram, and follow Alyssa, and check me out if you're interested in any sessions, soul activation sessions, soul readings, past life regressions, energy.
Go get a reading.
Yeah, energy medicine.
Get a reading, get a healing.
And then if you are interested in doing any one-on-one mentorships with me, or getting into, your shadow angel aspects and diving into that and uncovering that.
All right. Well, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.